Do you know any INFPs other than your husband, like in real life?
Yeah, I actually met a whole bunch of them. Do you know that term HSP, highly sensitive people?
Yeah.
So there's a meetup group in my town, and I decided to go check it out, and then we just happened to be talking about Myers-Briggs. Me and maybe like 8 other people were there, and everyone was like, I'm an INFP.
Like, I only know one female INFP other than you that I've spoken to.
We don't really make ourselves known. Don't really like put ourselves out there much, so it just could be like lack of exposure.
Yeah, like you work from home, I work from home. Like I barely go out and meet people. So many of the viewers think I'm ENFP, but like I like almost never go outside. It's really funny. Okay, so you wanted to talk about Asian Americans and INFP experience, or Enneagram 4 in particular, and like Prince relationships, right? So do you want to lead that conversation?
Sure. I don't know. This can go anywhere, really. I just always felt like, I guess kind of like the black sheep of the family, and like I have a really big family. Like I wasn't quite fitting in, like at the big family functions and stuff, and like the stuff they would talk about, I wouldn't really care for. You know, like I just thought a lot of the topics were just really shallow. I don't know, like, oh, who gained weight and stuff. I was just like, can you talk about anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it is like NFPs being like somewhat rare, and also like Chinese culture, like Chinese family culture is like a lot of, you know, like talking about people behind their backs, like talking about material things, and then like also disparaging yourself or your kids to make other people feel better, because that's like just the social norm, is to be like, oh, I'm such a bad person, you're so good, blah blah blah. Probably as a kid, like I didn't really get that because I wasn't actually born in Canada. I moved here when I was 8, but yeah, I still didn't get it. It was just like, why are you saying bad things about me to your friends? Like, what's going on?
I felt like, okay, I'm too American to be Chinese, but too Chinese to be American. That on top of being an INFP just like made me feel even more like removed from the rest of society. These questions just pop up into my head like over time. Like after I studied psychology for my undergrad and like also human development for my minor. Yeah, that was like when I really went down the rabbit hole with, you know, wondering why people are the way they are, you know?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Like, I don't know what to talk about with other INFPs. Oh, I had this with, like, the one other INFP person I knew. Like, we were so similar, and then there was just, like, so few things to talk about at the end of the day. Okay, I think if I had to give, like, an MBTI type to, like, Chinese culture, I would probably say, like, ESFJ or something. Oh, like, arguing about who pays, I think of that as a very FE activity. Like, oh no, I'll pay for dinner. Oh no, let me.
Can it just be expected that if one person pays, then the other person just pays next time, and then just keep alternating that way instead of like making it a whole thing? It can get kind of stressful because especially like the older generations, they like get really, really into it. It was originally intended to be a nice thing, but it kind of turns into a battle over who's more generous, and it just seems like it's really vain.
What specifically about those meetings and about like this culture in general that was challenging for you?
I guess I don't really enjoy talking about shallow things. That already makes me like an unfun person to talk to, right? I didn't realize until I got older that my vocabulary in Cantonese is very limited to talking about superficial things because that's all we talked about. It's just getting harder and harder to kind of like pretend to be okay when I just want to like not be there.
Now I'm actually okay with, I mean, I still don't really think it's great to gossip about people, but like I have a way easier time in that situation now. I don't know, somehow I just got used to it. I guess my FI is kind of like, well, I don't need to be super into everything. Like, it's fine to just participate and not be into it, or just sit there silently. Yeah, but it used to bother me a lot when I was younger.
I've kind of accepted that that's just how a lot of people are. It's just like the path of least resistance. but it's not the same as my path. So I seem to have been coping with it better in recent years.
You mentioned that like you had some difficulties like relating with your mom, right? Which I like really relate to.
Chinese moms, right, they are so special. I think my mom is ENTJ based on just reading some descriptions, but not 100% sure. Especially in such stark contrast with my husband. Apparently he's also INFP, and he comes from a very like openly loving and supportive family. My dad actually has been kind of like out of the picture for a long time. And so my mom, she was just raising me and my brother by herself. So I guess I could assume that a lot of like the stress was just from being a single mom and not being like the most nurturing type. She had very high expectations of us for school and in life. It was kind of weird. I didn't realize until later on that like if I wanted to try something new just out of curiosity, which is like oftentimes because I'm just so curious about many things, I used to give up like so incredibly easily if I wasn't like decent at it right away. And I just didn't have enough patience for like just keeping at it and building a skill. I'm sure that has to do with like our mom just didn't encourage us like that. So I tried like like so many hobbies, as many hobbies as I could think of, and always just like gave up. After I kind of realized that she's just doing what she thinks is right as a parent, then I stopped feeling like I was at the receiving end of that treatment. And like, you know, if I want to explore my creativity like with art or music, I can certainly do it.
Trying a lot of hobbies, by the way, is like so INFP. Like, it's just like, yeah, I totally tried so many hobbies.
Were you able to like keep at it?
Not really. I don't know. Even if I am good at it, it's just like, well, time to try a new hobby. Like, I don't think that is a stereotype of INFPs, but I think a lot of INFPs still have that. Like, INFP stereotype is that you work really carefully at one thing, right? But I don't think that's true. You might have one thing that you like, but you also try a bunch of other things because, like, extroverted intuition.
Yeah, I think, like, there's definitely the shiny object syndrome. I definitely get that. And I'm trying so hard to be more focused. If I'm only going to be focused on things that are, like, in the artsy world, I might as well, like, double down on that and see what happens. I tried going, like, the admin employee route, and it was all right, you know, like depending on the team. I didn't so much care about the work as I did about who I was working with.
That's good.
That doesn't mean that you can, you know, avoid like all types of organizations and, you know, getting things done.
Ooh, I don't know what it is about INFPs and organizations, but I don't like them either. It's so difficult.
Why is it so hard? I was kind of hoping, like, when you said you work from home too, I'm like, maybe she knows what the hack is. But there's none.
No, I read about this, but I still don't get it. It says that, like, oh, your FI is rebelling against the TE, and, like, TE is organizations, like, conceptually and physically, like, hierarchy, company efficiency type thing. Yeah, I don't know why, though. Like, why does FI have to be so against the TE? Why is it so hard for me to just, like, work at one job and, like, be happy? It's so difficult. Like, I don't like working at all. It's just, like, unless it's something that unless it's something that I really, really like. So that's why, like, I always wanted to make a hobby into a profession.
I wish, you know, there was a job where people can pay you just come up with random ideas.
No, me too. I've thought of this so many times. Like, you know those, like, lipstick colors? Like, where they say, like, passionate peach or, like, flirty flamingo fuchsia. I would love that job. I would do so well. I'd come up with, like, freaking 100 titles in, like, what? I'll come up with 100 colors an hour.
I would go for days.
Yeah, I too just changed hobbies all the time. Yeah, I wanted to be, like, a film director for a while, but then I realized that I don't actually like directing people. It's uncomfortable to tell other people what to do. Like, some people are really comfortable. Like, my boyfriend's really comfortable telling people what to do. And I like that. But I can't do that. I don't think I would ever be comfortable being like, you, over there, do this. Bring this item here. You, do that.
In this world, the actors would just read your mind. I just wanted to have a paying career that pays me for me to dream. And I realized that's not really sustainable in our society.
Oh, I think it used to be. They were called philosophers. Like, what happened to that?